by ICHA Support Foundation under the VisitMHP initiative in collaboration with CareerNaksha. At ICHA's, we are committed to empowering coaches, mental health practitioners to contribute to a happier, healthier, and more fulfilling world. We achieve this by providing comprehensive step by step training that equips them with advanced coaching and therapeutic skills. This, in turn, enables them to better serve their clients while achieving their professional and personal aspirations. This webinar is proudly brought to you by ICHA Support Foundation, an integral non-profit branch of ICHA's under their Visit MHP initiative. Core mission of ICHA Support Foundation revolves around promoting mental health case, creating awareness, providing support, and offering education. We firmly believe that by enhancing public awareness, educating communities, and providing individuals with the right tools, we can foster optimum mental health for all. ICHA's Support Foundation has initiated the Visit MHP Challenge, an inspiring initiative by mental health practitioners, encouraging individuals to seek help proactively before it becomes too late, and also acting as a peer learning and support community for practicing psychologists and psychology students in India, whereby we hold regular case discussions on every second Tuesday of every month, 6:30 p.m. to help psychologists and psychology students develop problem solving and analytic skills. We have started a subsidiary counseling service for students of psychology dealing with psychological issues such as stress, anxiety, depression, or any other emotional difficulties. Through our subsidiary drive, you can access counseling services from qualified professionals who specialize in mental health and psychological well being. You can fill the form given below or visit mhp.com, book your first free discovery session. Under the Visit MHP initiative, we also have additional learning resources like worksheets, pre recorded courses, and more. Every month, we host webinars and workshops on various psychology related topics. Keep an eye on our website and social media channels for announcement about upcoming webinars and workshops. You can join us on Insta Live on ICHA Support Foundation on 30th September 2023 at 10 a.m. on emotional intelligence in collaboration with Healing Dove Foundation. We also occasionally join forces with our educational providers to host informative webinars on various psychology related topics for both psychologists and psychology students. Today's webinar is made possible through our partnership with the CareerNaksha, our valued collaborators in the field of career counseling. Joining us is Huma Sufyan, my co-host from CareerNaksha, and Nidhi Pandey, our esteemed guest, who will provide valuable insights on the art of crafting an effective resume. Thank you for joining us on this journey of knowledge and growth. We hope you find this webinar both enriching and enlightening. I would now like to invite Huma to provide an introduction to CareerNaksha.
So, good evening, everyone. I'm Huma Sofyan. I'm Community Manager and Coordinator in CareerNaksha as well as the Counselor of India. So, I welcome on the behalf of our esteemed institution, Aisha, as well as the CareerNaksha and Counselor of India. So, actually, CareerNaksha is what? CareerNaksha is an edtech startup based out of Vadodara, that is Gujarat, and run by the alumni of IITs, IIMs, VIT, and MSU, along with the world's leading career psychologists, HR professionals, and industry experts. So, Career Naksha provides modern, personalized, data-driven, psychometric-based career counseling and development platform to school, colleges, students, graduate, and early professionals too in the field of psychology. We have already helped 15,000 schools and colleges students in finding their right career path in the last 5 years with the help of scientific method and tools like psychometric and personalized counseling. We also have uncovered more than 10 lakh students across India digitally via all our social media channels and completed 15,000 hours of counseling and expanded our mentors counselors network 4,000 in diverse area. So this is all about the Career Naksha. It's an online platform who provides the online psychometric with career counseling. Also, we provide the national certification program. Also, we help in central enablement program for those who want their own center in their geographical area. Thank you. This is all about the counseling and career action.
Thank you, Uma. That was great. And
Thank you.
now I would like to invite our guest for today, Nidhi Pandey, who's going to hold this webinar for us. And thank you so much for being here, Nidhi. So over
Thank,
to Nidhi to introduce herself.
thank you, Kiran. Thank you, Uma. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. And hello to everybody. I am Nidhi Pandey, a counseling psychologist. And with reference to this webinar, I have my experience as a resume writer. I have worked with timesjobs.com and created CVs right from fresher level to 10 plus, 20 plus experienced people. So yeah, let's start with what we are here for, and I'll just start sharing. So the first thing, when we have to make a CV, yeah, when we have to make a CV or a resume, the first question that comes to one's mind is there a difference between a CV and a resume, right? So yes, there is a difference, although it is in today's parlance today, people use it loosely. Either it is a resume or it is a CV, but technically there is a difference between a CV and a resume, right? CV, which stands for curriculum vitae, is a detailed story of a person, whereas a resume is a short, crisp one pager which gives just the important facts about a person's education, a person's professional development, a person's work experience, anything that would directly interest the recruiter. But however, today, the detailed part holds importance during an interview or only for some specific segments of work, job profiles, right? But so the first thing that we do once we create a CV, but when you are looking for a job, is that you send the CV, right? So while you're creating your CV, the first thing that you need to understand is that any CV stands a chance in front of a recruiter for only, say, 6 seconds or 7 seconds. That is the reason why it is never a good idea to create a CV which is more than one page. Maximum you can go to is maybe another page after that. That is maybe only if there is no scope of fitting in the information that you are providing in one page. But however, earlier it used to be a constraint because the patterns were specific. But now, with the advent of apps like Canva and many other uh, so-called designing apps, it has become a little easier. I will show you the examples of the CVs, the samples. It has become a little easier to put in lots of information in just one page. It's interesting to know that very senior, experienced people, they still have their CVs or their resumes in that just one page. So how to fit in that information in that one page actually remains a challenge with most of us, because there's so much to tell. And when we are creating a CV on our own, we do feel that every little thing that we have done holds significance, holds, is important. So being able to sift that information, just sift it out, identify what is important and what just needs to go on that one page first, and then presenting it in obviously a presentable form. That is what counts, right? So we've understood the difference between a resume, a CV. The third thing, another term for resume or CV, which traditionally people used in India, was biodata, right? So biodata is Nowadays we don't use that term. It is mostly, like I said, traditionally it was used. So it's we have kept it for traditional use. Like for example, if you're sharing your details for a marriage, that is when people generally tend to use the word biodata. But otherwise, the CV and the resume, these are the two words that we are looking at, right? Okay. So from here, when you choose a CV, the first thing that you have to understand is, okay, you've got your page in front of you. It could be a Canva template, or it could be an MS Word document, whatever you want to, wherever you want to create your CV, right? Now, whether the CV is going to be a nice, colorful document or a black and white um, one pager which has only words, depends on the kind of job profile that you're looking for. So if it's if you are applying for a flight attendant, it needs your photograph. So your photograph will be there, and that would put color to the CV. If you are applying for a designing job, your CV has to highlight that, okay, this person has some sense of design. But if you're applying for a job which is, say, into a medical profession, an engineering profession, um, any such profession where, which is considered like um, very study oriented, there a CV which is ideally completely black and white, with maybe a little tints of color in the lines, in the left hand corner, that would help. Okay. So from here, once you choose your one pager, so what I will do is I will just screen share and take out a Word document for you. Just give me a moment. Yeah. So we have this Word document, and so the first thing, the first part, upper part, always. So I'll create a CV for myself here. This is Nidhi Pandey, my name, and we understand here I am the product, right? So when I am the product, I have to market myself. And to market myself, who am I has to be the most important part. So the name goes in a bigger font size, not all caps. And underneath the name, if you are already working, you can give your designation as well. So, for example, I might write psychologist. I will reduce the size. Yeah. Or okay. So, and I will ensure that the space in between is right. The space is not too much. After the name, so let's just understand what is the most important aspect in that top band, right? After the name comes the contact. So the minute the recruiter decides, okay, the recruiter is able to scan the CV, upar se niche tak, and then looks, okay, I want to select this person. So where do I contact this person? Contact is mostly, first contact is your email. So say, for example, xyz@gmail, right? And then comes your mobile number, so maybe 789 whatever, right? This is my mobile. If you're applying internationally, the country code is very important, right? So you write, put in your phone number. So contact is your email and your phone number, and then comes your postal address. because we all look for a person who has a place, a base, right? And then comes your postal address. So ideally, these things just go beneath. Maybe you can draw a line over here, insert a line. So I am just talking about the content of the CV, not the designing aspect, right? But yeah, I need to separate this. So the the name, the designation, and then the contact, and if you can fit in, because it is important for us to save the space as well. So you can put in your address also over here. So this becomes the information about the basic information about you. From here, the next aspect is okay. So you have another option, which is you can have your designation here and your contact here. This is another option. Maybe I can center align this and I look at once again, because what is the job that I'm looking for, the profile. So I write it down over there. And thereafter, so there was a time when people used to write their career objectives. But if you look at it, and if you have seen a few CVs, you realize it is actually like the appendix in our body, a vestigial organ. So similarly, the career objective, naturally anybody who's applying for a job will make it flowery and write it over there that okay, this is my career, I want to grow manifolds, I want to do this, I want to do. Doesn't really hold that kind of importance. So instead of career objective, what we do is we just write a profile, create a profile, short profile. Now you have a choice of you have a choice of writing this profile, creating this profile in points. So say you have um, so say you can put in 4 points, 3 points, or you can create a small paragraph, a small 3 4 line pen picture about yourself. So when you're creating the first line of your profile has to describe who you are, right? So if I have to write about myself, maybe I can write a counseling psychologist with an experience of more than 20 years, with an experience of more than 20 years, right? So what I have done is, see, I have mentioned what do I do. I have mentioned my years of experience, and after I have mentioned my years of experience, what I can also add here is with various hospitals and rehab centers. For example, this is just an example I'm giving you, right? So it tells us, okay, where has this person worked? Yeah. Now, here for a fresher, it becomes a little difficult because obviously you do not have all these things. So if you're a fresher, you will add your degree over there. So you're studying to become I assume that most of you are psychologists over here, studying to become a psychologist. So you're studying to become a psychologist, you can write whatever you have studied, clinical, counseling, whatever. So clinical psychologist with postgraduate degree in whatever you have studied from wherever you have studied, right? Okay, so this first line is one sentence describing exactly who you are professionally, right? And thereafter, you can go on to describe what adds on to your profile. Maybe um, any achievements, maybe any further certifications, all those things that add on to your profile in this first section. Remember, not more than 3 to 4 lines. Here, for freshers, people add their extracurriculars, right? Right? Extracurricular when it is plural. So now understand the difference between extracurricular and co-curricular. Extracurricular is something that you are doing out of your syllabus, right? So while you are studying a subject, you are also playing a particular sport. That becomes your extracurricular. But if you are, for example, you're studying psychology and you are working with an NGO to give counseling, volunteering with an NGO, that becomes your co-curricular activity, right? So when it is associated with your subject, it is co-curricular. When it is not associated with your subject, it is extracurricular. Now, co-curricular becomes important because if we are looking at the profession of psychology, and if you have your experience even as a volunteer, that counts, right? But if it is extracurricular, remember it is just a filler. Okay, so if you have 4 or 5, you might have been an excellent sports person, you might have performed in number of dance shows or whatever, right? But here, when it comes to your professional life, that really does not hold that much of value. So um, when you are, in case you do not have other things to write, yes, you can go ahead and write that. But if you have other things to write, then yes, we need to save space, we need to fit in everything in that one page, so we delete that. You can always share that later during the interview if you're selected, you're called for an interview or whatever. So that is when you can share about all those other achievements. So yes, your profile becomes one page. Sorry, that 3 to 4 lines. After the profile, what we do? Once again, we have two things. One for experienced people, the other for freshers. For experienced people, we straight away go to the work experience. Work experience, right? And when we are writing the work experience, we go back. In your entire CV or resume, we move backwards. So we start with the present job first. So for example, this is my job. This is the name of the organization. Let me write the name of the organization, right? And the designation. First comes the designation, comma, the name of the organization. And then maybe on the right hand extreme corner, I can write say, October 2020 till date. Remember, this has to fit in one line. If there is less space, you can write it like this, right? Till date. So, it has it in. Okay? You go on to describe the profile. Once again, remember, 1, 2, 3 liners are the best. Now, when you are going to describe the profile, so it should never be I it should never be I have done whatever the task. I will just strike through this so that you have the visual memory of this is not done. Not done at all. You have to always start with a verb, an action word, right? So maybe what you can do is strike through, responsible for XYZ, right? Or managed a portfolio, managed XYZ, right? Or successfully applied. So one, this is helping you shorten your sentence. Two, you're just being very crisp, very precise about what you did or what you are doing in that personal, in that specific, right? Then, so from October till date, then we move backwards. What was my previous organization, right? So once again, I write the name, designation, name of the organization, and change the date. So say this becomes October 15 to October 20, right? So, and then once again, you write the profile. Now, many a times it happens that people have had a lot of switches in their jobs. If that has happened, then it is better to create a table and write down all your jobs. And but you can do that only if the profile has been consistent. It is not from a marketing job to a teaching job to a trainer's job. Teaching or trainer can still be the same job, right? So it cannot be, you cannot be jumping in different areas, different segments. If the kind of profile is similar for all the organizations, create a table, write down the details of your organizations and the work profile. Then in that case, what you will do is work experience, you write down all the things you have handled, right? So in that case, what you can do is so see, this is your work experience. We go there and we write down all the responsibilities that I have handled. So one, two, sorry, one, then we come to two, then we come to three, then we come to four. Only the very important ones, which once again, you look at the kind of role. So resume has to be specific to the job you're applying for, right? So say you have been working as a counselor in a hospital, right? But now you are applying for a job in a rehab center. So then what do? In a hospital, the profile would be a little different to what you have to do in a rehab center, right? In a rehab center, the profile would broaden, the horizon would broaden a little bit. Maybe there are certain extra things that you would have to do. Look at those things and see if in the existing there is something which you can match, correlate, and create your work experience accordingly. Remember, you don't have to lie, don't have to create a story. If you can establish a connect and create a work experience, go ahead and do that, right? So then this is in case of when you have worked with many organizations and you need to fit your CV in one page. So you write down the common work profile and then you create a table. Now for freshers, in case of freshers, we straight away start with academic and professional development, right? So academic development is specifically your degrees, your MPhil, your PhD, your post-graduation, your graduation, your 12th, your 10th, depending upon what all you, so if you've done your PhD, naturally you've done your bachelor's, yeah? So bachelor's, 12th, 10th. So only the relevant one. So latest three are the best, right? So only the relevant ones. Till the time you do not want to highlight something specific, right? So the relevant ones you can mention there. Once again, we are going backwards. So your academic would be PhD. Yeah. Then you will write where have you done it from. So for example, we write JNU. University, Delhi, and you write the year of passing. So for you guys, let's put it 2018. And the year of passing, and if you want, so PhD wouldn't have an aggregate, but say this is a master's in psychology, organizational psychology, or organizational, sorry for this, psychology. See, think all the details here. What is your specialization? This becomes your specialization, so your university, your year of passing out, and you can also mention your aggregate or CGPA or whatever, right? And close this. Remember, the last three qualifications are the best. If you have to fill the page, then obviously you can add the details, right? Then, so this is your academic development. This is as well as, because so your bachelor's, your master's, your PhD, one subject, and pursuing your career also. So yes, this adds on to this, also becomes your professional development. But if there are any other courses, short-time course, if you're into psychology, obviously you would need to do so many other courses. So what have you done? Have you done your the latest one, which is very prevalent these days, your CBT certification, your REBT certification, your CHCP certification, all those things you can write here in detail, one after the other. Once again, the place and the year of passing out. So that year of passing out for all these extra certifications and all become important, so that the person who's recruiting you knows that, okay, this person has kept himself or herself abreast with the latest in the industry, right? And after this, once you finished your educational and professional qualifications, thereafter, um, you can write your the last section, which becomes references if required. So we do not give the references here itself. We just write down available on request, right? Um, Once again, this section is dependent on the amount of space which is available in the on your page. If you're done with the space, then this is not required. But yes, your references should be there. You should be prepared with your two references, just in case the employer asks, the recruiter asks, right? So how do we go about it? Let's take a quick recap. Your name, your designation, your contact information, the first panel. Then comes your work experience, then comes your profile. After your profile, your work experience. After your work experience, your academic and professional development, and then the references, all ulta. We're moving backwards, right? Not from present, not from first one to the present, but from present to the start, right? So this is, I'll just stop sharing this, and I will just share a few examples of the CVs, right? So just let me share this. If you look at this CV, yeah, see, this person is, she has added her picture here. She has written her name. Notice how her name is. You can see the name written in nice bold letters, because she is branding. She is her brand, right? And then the details, her address, her contact. So here in the Word document, how I had shown you was, I'll just share that. I had shown you this kind of a Word doc, right? So this is one page Word document. See, your this is the CV of a fresher, right? So they have written, given the qualifications here, and then the publications, certifications. So this does not have the work responsibilities, work experience, right? This is just the academics and the other things, the professional and academic development, right? But this is how so much of information has been presented here, right? Okay, and this, once again, the CV does not have a picture. This is a very study oriented CV. So this is the kind of CV that we had discussed now. But when you're using the present day apps like Canva, and yeah, mostly people are using Canva these days. So just let me show you this CV. Have a look at this CV. Yeah, just have a look. So what they have done is, so instead of vertical, the information has become horizontal. Sorry, instead of horizontal, the information has become vertical. This band, what we were talking of, this vertical horizontal band over here, this has become here with all the important details about you given here. And then this side is your profile, your work history, your education, and your certifications. So there is another thing nowadays that has started is your skill set, right? Language again is a filler. Most of the people know their native language as well as their, which is the mother tongue, as well as mostly, right? So that is understood. If you know more than two languages, three languages, maybe you can write multilingual in your profile here. But like, once again, it's a filler. But your skill set, now just let me share this. When we are talking of your skill set, which goes in that panel here, right? So if you're talking of, even when you're talking of your profile, look at the job that you are applying for. Look at what are the skills that are needed in that job. And once you're able to identify those skills, try to incorporate those skills in your profile, in your skill set, if you are highlighting it in a separate segment in that skill set. And mostly 3 to 4 points that would suffice, right? So from either vertically if you're right, or horizontally if you're writing it, so create a box panel kind of a thing, and you write 1, 2, 3, 4. Vertically if you're writing it, yes. So with stars you can write, or one after the other you can write. Once again, your level of efficiency, if you are extremely efficient in that particular skill, it is a good idea to write. If you're not very conversant with the skill, once again, if you have nothing more to write, or if all the skills are at the same level, then you can write. But otherwise, if you have many skills you're really great at, just mention those. Rest can come in later during the interview. So yeah, so this is it. I have shown you 1 or 2 samples. Where do you need to put your picture? Do you need to put your picture? Not all CVs need your picture. If you're applying for as a doctor in a hospital, I don't think you really need to put in your picture. Choice is yours. But yeah, they would like to know what are the kind of cases you have dealt with, what is your work that you have done. They would be more interested in that, right? So not all CVs need your picture. It is absolutely not necessary. But if you are in a profession where a picture is required, yes, definitely go ahead. Once again, whether you're making your CV on a Word document, or on Canva, or any other software which of your choice, you have to know how to design that, how to put in color over there to get the basic columns and put in the details. I have given you what to put in the CV. Achha, the other two important things: the font size. Your name's font can be bigger, but otherwise the font size of in the entire CV has to range somewhere between 10 to 12, or 11 and 12. Ideally 12 is good, but if there is too much of information to fit in, you can stick to 11. The font is a professional font like Times Roman, Verdana, Arial, Calibri. You cannot use comic fonts or many other kinds of fonts which are there. Yes, it has to be easily legible. Person should be able to read easily, even with specs. And the other thing, the spacing in the lines. You cannot put in double space because that will take it too. So just look at the kind of spacing between the lines also. there should be uniformity in the font, in the spacing, no grammatical mistakes. With so many apps which are already there to correct the spellings. If you are putting in a CV errors with spelling mistakes, it will definitely not leave a good impression on the other person. So yes, with this, all the best for creating your CV. I hope you're able to assimilate this well. Would request you to make your pointers and sit down and start working on your CV. Initially, first attempt, it does take a little while, but gradually, as you get a hang of it, you write down the profile is the most challenging part. Once you're able to do that, rest follow.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. This was really insightful, and I guess the students would have really benefited by this webinar of ours.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank CareerNaksha for collaborating for this webinar. And for details of ICHA's courses, please visit instituteofclinicalhypnosis.com. For CareerNaksha courses, visit careernaksha.com. And for subsidiary drive for psychology students to take psychological help for any kind of mental health issue, visit VisitMHP.com or fill the form that I'm going to put in the comment box. All the details of all these courses, all the websites will be put in the comments so that you can easily access them. And thank you once again, Nidhi, for a lovely webinar on resume writing. Thank you.
Thank you to you.